very good from Black. Of course, it felt like they were warming up. They're warming up coming into HGC, of course. And also later games will be a lot more important. They have to go against Mighty, Tempest, and also L5 waiting. So BlossoM, for them, it should be feeling like warm-up game for them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, fans, keep your hype pants on, as we're going to be getting this draft here in just a minute. Will you expect the Sky Temple pick as well?
Yeah, I think that's traditionally, and that's a style of MVP. Black really drafting the map. They don't really like the StarCraft map. Both MVP, Miracle, and Black, and also they often choose Sky Temple, and oftentimes, and if it goes to set 5, it's always BOE too.
Well, hate is a strong word, G-Clef, but when you look at their ban rates and it's like over 100% ban on the StarCraft Battlegrounds, then you can almost make an argument for it. Well, we're going to BOE first. We might go to Sky Temple for Game 3, but they're going to pick it instead of Sky Temple here for the second game. So this will, of course, give first pick to BlossoM.
We have already seen Reset Gala. Very likely to see this again. And this Battleground, especially Malthael will be banned or taken if not banned for sure. I'm 200%, 7,000% sure that's going to happen.
7,000%?
Yes.
I think you're being a little bit conservative. I'd say 7,024% chance minimum. So, I mean, if they don't, then so BlossoM will definitely not ban it because they want Black to ban it, and then they'll get one of their top tier heroes. If Black leaves it open, which would be a really interesting challenge, I want to see how they want to counter it. I don't think that will happen. We don't know. Obviously, he has a 100% ban rate so far. It was in the second ban phase in the previous set. It'd be shocking if BlossoM bans it first here, because they would have the opportunity to pick it up. It's going to be the Uther first ban, it looks like. And now this is when it locks in instantly. Let's see how quickly they do it. Oh, they leave it open! It's open! It's happening! Oh, this is the first day.
This is the moment.
This is the first day of HGC Korea where Malthael is available. So we don't know if the teams will really prioritize him despite his insanely blasted win rate on hot slogs in Hero League and solo queue and the impacts that he's had. People have been talking about it, pro gamers tweeting about it, right? But when it comes to pro play, sometimes what works well in solo queue doesn't necessarily translate well to these maps. And he's definitely a strong hero that we could absolutely see taken by Black right now. But
well, I heard it from the man that's on the camera right now on his stream that he's gonna. There we go!
There it is! All right, it's time!
The very first Malthael from HGC.
You guys thought you were tuned in tonight to only see some Stukov announcements, but Malthael's playing for real. He's not permabanned. Yet, keep your hype pants on as I'll just continue to make fun of myself for what I said in the Game 1 intro.
Of course, for the viewers who does not know what Malthael is all about, he does a lot of percentage damage with the Reaper's mark that he has. Kind of like Tychus, but he's also melee. He also has like a MOBA with the W, and also heals himself with the Q. Yeah. So he's basically all around. That's exactly why what makes him so powerful right now.
His damage is percentage based, which means that it ignores all kinds of armor. Physical armor and spell armor neither affect its DPS. It does percentage based damage based on health, so it's going to be very powerful against a Nubrok specifically. And we'll see him drop down, his heroic later on to spread that to everybody, and it's very powerful, very difficult to deal with. He gets armor when he uses that, so it's harder to kill him. He has mobility in the solo lane if he ends up being the solo laner here, to jump behind heroes to get kills, so he can kind of gank a little bit. He doesn't have very many escapes, though, and it's very difficult for him to 1v1 against ranged assassins because they don't have a large amount of health. Greymane's one exception, he's got a decent amount of health.
That's right. It's not a burst damage, it's damage over time, kind of like poison in a way. So, and he is very weak against all the CCs. When he dives in, even after taking his heroic, he does get 20 armor, but he can get blown up. So taking tasks that are with him from the very beginning, I think Black has what it takes, I think. And then they can also bring Vala, just like game number 1. Vala, Ariel, again, of course, not maybe into Q build, maybe not into Q build with Ariel later on in BOE, but I think they can already have a pretty good solid draft coming in for BOE. And BlossoM, of course, taking Medivh. That's a little interesting coming out from Medivh.
We already saw them ban the Medivh last game on Dragonshire against the Vala and the Illidan play. So maybe they really just feel like Medivh is a very powerful hero right now, a pseudo DPS, a pseudo support, with insane mobility, and they just don't want to deal with it. It can pair very well with the Greymane, especially Wisdom Duelist Greymane. And we saw in the previous set, No Chat playing Go for the Throat and not Cursed Bullet. So we could be leaning towards that type of Greymane play here. As the Karzim is removed, actually. Kind of an unusual ban here.
So I'm guessing they want to go for Rehgar Hat, Ancestral Healing, and really remove all the supports that's available. Because, again, we are on the Malthael patch. 26.0, guys.
Yes.
And this is BOE, so this is what's happening. The support pool, of course, nerfs with the Malfurion. That really, Malfurion. Really powers down all the supports. With Uther gone also. So the support war will be real, and Black will have the first pick onto support.
I like this Tracer ban. We've seen so many times FNB Black pick up the Tracer. It was normally Kyocha back in the past would bring it in, but removing it now would have probably been Sake. I guess that would play the hero. Now with the new roster, we don't know for sure. Could have been a reset as well.
But no cleanse on to the side of Black, though. Anubrak does have a lot of CC. If BlossoM brings few more CCs, even Malthael or anyone diving in at the front line can be very, very squishy against all that. That's why they brought in Tastar. Let's see if that shielding is enough for them.
What do you think is going to be the last pick? Is this going to be a Li Ming situation? You got the Li Ming for some extra burst and poke? Because they don't have a lot of poke with this, right? They have Malthael who can insane percent-based damage race on the Immortals, but you don't have a lot of poke, so if you get in this stalemate situation where Malthael can't get in range to do that damage, he's going to struggle. Tastar has some poke, right? But you don't really think of Tastar as a poke range hero. No one's ever picked Psystorm range before, ever. Never, ever, ever. So, BlossoM looking, of course, for their support now with the Malfurion removed. Feels like it should be the Rehgar coming across. Varian getting picked up here first, and it will be the Rehgar to close it out.
Okay, hard CC. That's exactly what they needed with the Hunt. They have a lot of frontline tanks. When they have beat, there's a percent advantage. Lots of actually protection onto the side of BlossoM. They can have a longer fight, better for Malthael, but what is this going to be for MVP Black? They've been hiding. May actually be Illidan once more for all-in dive-in.
If you go Illidan, though, you're basically all melee. You don't have a lot of range. And it's going to be Cassia. I like this. This is a little bit more of a... I feel like it's an all-rounded pick. So you have a lot more range damage. You have somewhat of a counter to the DPS, the lack of spell damage on the side of BlossoM. Or, you know, they have the cocktail damage, but otherwise the auto attacks coming out from Greymane going to be their main source of damage, especially if it ends up being Wisdom Duelist Greymane with the Medivh. You might think that would be the way it is, so I think the draft of Black is better just simply because Malthael, man. But we'll see if they can execute it here. Didn't think we'd be seeing him get through any drafts tonight, but already MVP Black gets away with it in game number 1. Let's go into BOE to see if they can win with him. Okay, BlossoM has Wiz on Rehgar, Gondar on Anubrak, Mora on Varian, Dudu on Greymane, and No Chat on Medivh.
And on the other side in red, here we go. MVP Black, reset on Cassia, Sake on Tastar, Kyocha on Malfurion, Rich on Malthael, and Tist on Arthas.
So we were seeing the Malfurion coming in already. Rip Bolt of the Storm.
No cleanse may hurt them. Let's see how well they are prepared without the cleanse, and also a lot less healing coming out from Malfurion too.
Well, what do you think about the bolt removal? You think it was required? You think it was necessary?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
I do too. I just
the game exploded before 20 anyhow. So
yeah, I feel sad that another hero loses Bolt. Back in the old days, man, everyone had Bolt, even Jaina. Well, we see a lot of protection being used here onto Gondar, but he's caught outside. The portal placement here will save him, though. As you can see just how much CC is on the side of BlossoM. Mostly dealt with there by Black, but here we go. Once again, Sake gets caught. Will Dimensional shift away. The root is well placed. He gets stuck here, pays for it, and on day one, when Gondar had his amazing ETC plays, his Nubrock plays, we talked about how this guy seemed like he was a superstar. But often when you're playing against a weaker team, it's really easy to make those arguments. When you dive in, you make all the right plays, you look like a god. But when you make mistakes like this, even with your aggressive playstyle that's worked for you in the past in Hero League, it's worked for you and against some of the weaker teams in HGC. When you get used to that, perhaps sometimes you learn bad habits. And Black with a sick disengage there. The root was well placed. The coach is already kind of a show-off tonight.
yeah, that's right. This bottom looks pretty tough, but we're not getting any looks on the top lane. But Varian against Malthael. Malthael does have sustained healing with the Soul Rip himself, and I've seen lots of solo laning with Varian versus Malthael, and Varian cannot win that.
All right, well, I mean, look at this.
Super tough.
Speaking of super tough, look at what he's able to do already by himself to the Immortal. I mean, see you later. 4K lead already, no big deal. Doesn't even, not even slightly interested in joining the team fight. Not even slightly interested, okay? And meanwhile, Black wins the 4v5 fight with a better sustain here from Malfurion.
You see that Immortal gets caught again and does have protection on himself, but Cassia finishes him off at the end.
So here's the strat. You leave open Malthael, and then Black grabs it. So you're Black, okay, well,
yeah,
we'll just 4v5 them, and then you can attack the Immortal. Rich is like, but I want to fight too. No. Can you hit that Immortal? Like, can you keep hitting it? Can you hit it like a few more times? All right, we're good. Look at this damage. BlossoM just has to concede the point. They cannot even hope to contest, not even slightly.
It's like Lunara attacking a minion or something. It's way too much % damage. Just Rich himself alone. BlossoM cannot contest this. They have to force a team fight. I don't really know what to expect. What they were expecting when they were going through the ban phase.
It's like that you know, popular culture reference. I don't know what I expected. You know, I don't know what they expected either. It's like you know, you put Malthael next to Immortal, attacks it, the health goes away. It's like you put an ice cube next to a fire and the ice cube goes away. Like, I mean,
pretty simple logic there.
You could say he melts the health bar.
But they do have lots of CCs to lock him on. Maybe taking him out of the fight before would be the perfect choice, but let's see if Rich gets caught.
Well, he's trying to catch Gondar, who gets stunned here. Look at the percentage-based damage at work here. So insane. And that's trait damage, it's not spell damage, so fortunately for Gondar, he's not really able to you know, use his armor, his spell armor against that. It's not going to help, it's not going to be a soft counter or anything like that. Yeah, Feral Heart here at level 4 for Rhaegar, so he's at least going to have some more sustain. Just looking at talent differences here. Nothing too crazy. It is the cocktail build fully so far. Even though they draft Medivh, I don't think they can make the Go for the Throat and the Wisdom Duelist work this time with the draft that we ended up with at the end.
Here comes the dive. This is what they were looking for, but the root plays perfectly defensive, and it's on to another target now. Gondar barely escaped with the portal there.
Comes back in, actually. He's got a Death Wish. Will escape into Raven form now, but close calls there. So this is looking pretty rough already. Black is just casually attacking these forts. There's no objective at the moment. It's just Black having such domination with this draft and with Malthael against the Anub'arak pick and against the Varian. The BlossoM just feels hopeless right now. Not much they can do. So that's going to be 2 forts down as Rich decides to head back up to the top lane. Armora is going to have some difficulties here. He doesn't know about the rotation yet. He's about to get a Rude Awakening. Thinks he can soak those minions. Pretty big denial coming in.
And next weekend we'll have the nerfs to Malthael, but this weekend he is very, very powerful right now against any solo lane, especially on this map against the Immortals, which we just have witnessed with our own eyes.
Okay, Rich got baited in a little bit here, but the rotation is coming up for Black. see if he can buy enough time. Portal coming out. He does have some self-sustain, some heals here. He's got one more in a second. Teleports by. It's a little bit too late. Doesn't have 10 for the armor. We'll see if Black can actually make this a 1-for-1, though. Nope. And here comes the big burrow charge. This was a good, well-executed attack by BlossoM. Good punish play there on Rich's aggressive nature in the mid lane. Kondar solo. Will be killed by the Moonfire? Nope. Gets the heal.
Also got the protection.
The root!
No follow-up at the end of the damage, but Malthael will be back very safely. But gladly this is on to BlossoM's side. Maybe they will come for defend in time.
Well, it's funny because even though they got the pick, because of the better trade for Black with their rotation up, they didn't have to back home. They were all at full health. So even though they were down a member, they came to the Immortal first, and now Malthael is back for this very important fight. And they force halftime so that Malthael can actually have the easier attack once this swaps positioning.
Kondar dives into Socket, has their shifts away, reset. He's getting all the heal, but here comes Rich from the side, gets ripped onto Greymane. That's the second kill onto Nubarag already.
Level 10 is here, and we are going to see some sparks fly here. As MVP Black has their heroics online. We'll love to see the soul rip, but rip that heroic because it is definitely not meta. Well, as you can see, it's going to be a full 20,000 health Immortal. And I think BlossoM is going to walk away with this game with some regrets. Was the Nubarag pick worth it? I think it's going to be the question that for anyone who did not make that decision in the draft, whoever called out we're going to pick a Nubarag here, he's probably going to face some questions from his teammates over the next few moments as this game will come to its conclusion. But Black hasn't sealed the deal quite yet. They have to at least attack with this Immortal. Full shield's going to have a lot of range attacks. It's going to be a dead keep for sure, no 10 for BlossoM, but maybe. We've seen miracles happen before.
That's right, Syndragosa coming out, going all the way die. Rich popping already, going in with the rip. He can sustain healing. Is crazy by himself. He didn't get any heal, just one shield from Sake. He's back to full health.
Well, this keep without even damaging the Immortal at all while being disabled by Syndragosa, this may just be game over because the Immortal is going to still have ranged attacks on the core. Level 10 for BlossoM is another minion wave away. Minion wave so difficult to hit here when they're so protected by MVP Black. Finally, they get it with some of that tick EXP. Can this be their miracle defense? It's going to be a big question here. It's not even going to be taunt coming out from Varian. They are so desperate.
Yeah, that's right. Colossus Smash actually used on the perfect target. They are smashing onto Kyoto, but he's alone. No follow-up damage.
They finally get him. Finally get him here, but the Immortal's still at nearly full health. Sake's alive. He's got the Archon, and that is going to be GG. Not a perfect game here for Black with the 2 deaths, the death on Kyoto and Rich overextending in the top lane. But it was as perfect as it gets, pretty much. And Malthael on BOE, I don't think we'll ever see that happen again. Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. I don't think I need to speak any other words on that. I think it should be banned, or if left open, it should be banned from the other side or taken for the very, very first pick. No other hero is stronger than Malthael on BOE, especially when it comes to Immortal damage. There's no other hero that can contest the damage.
Now, I'm really curious, and I hope this gets brought up in the post-game interview, because it will likely be Rich who gets interviewed. No, the series isn't over, right? But I'm just saying, assuming, 1 + 1 is 2 and the MVP Black finishes the series, that when we interview Rich, I would like to see what he has to say about the draft in general, because they let it open. So it looked like they wanted it to be picked, right? It looks like they had an answer to Malthael, and they were like, oh, you think Malthael's broken here, but actually we have the answer. That was what the draft looked like for Black. And then when they didn't take it, Black was like, thinking, I guess we'll just take it. And then I guess we'll win, because you don't know the counter. But we're going to take a short commercial break, guys. When we come back, BlossoM will have an opportunity to fight back in this series. Looks to be a rough one for them, but they've got another shot. We're going to take that break, and we'll see you guys in just a few.